Hello, I'm Angela Princeville, and today I'll be answering the question that was asked being, can I keep the home I brought into the marriage? So, that's all I have, and I'm going to sort of try to address the root question in there because I'm not really sure if this is more a question of can you actually keep the physical asset itself or if it's about keeping the value of the home. So if you have a home, you owned it before the date of marriage, it's in your name solely, you haven't, meaning you haven't added your partner's on title, then absolutely, in terms of your right to keep that physical asset, yes, you can keep that home that you brought into the home. I know that's significant for some people because if it's, property that is on, say a larger piece of property that's being shared with family and things like that, it may become uncomfortable if you no longer have that home and the other party gets it. So I can understand from the perspective of the physical property itself, are you able to keep that property? Chances are yes. Now I say chances are because it's not unusual for a court to have to order the sale of a property that you own solely if that is the only way that equalization can be satisfied. So if it's absolutely necessary and there's no other way that equalization can be settled, or if in the court's opinion that's the best approach to take, then the home would be sold. But I venture to say that in most cases, if it's your property, your chances are you will be able to keep it. Now, if there's the ownership to the property in and of itself versus the division of the value of that property they're completely different questions. So in terms of the value of a home, well, it depends as well. So can you keep all of the value of the home that you brought into the marriage? Well, do you have a marriage contract is always the first starting point, right? Because if you have a marriage contract where where you're separate as to property or separate as to that specific property, problem solved. If you don't, however, then the next question would become, well, is it a matrimonial home? Bearing in mind that with the matrimonial home, even though the other party is not on title, they do have a right to exclusive possession of that home. So it's not, don't be surprised to find that you may own a property and you're being asked to leave that property, move out so that the other party remains there. It's not going to be forever. So, it's just usually temporary. So that right to exclusive possession of the home does exist. But in terms of the values, so how that would get divided with that, if you don't have a marriage contract, if it's an investment property, chances are you will get to deduct the date of marriage value. Now, of course, as everything family law or probably law in general, there's always a qualification, right? So when I do say you will get the date of marriage deduction, well, I'm imagining that there are no conditions that exist where the other party can make a trust claim. Now, what are some of those conditions? Well, how long did you cohabit before you got married? Did the other party maybe make significant contributions to the home? In which case, if you get that date of marriage deduction, the other part, you will be unjustly enriched. So let's say there's no trust claim, then you could get that date of marriage deduction, but you will have to share whatever value has accrued on your property during the marriage. If it's a matrimonial home, however, if you don't have a marriage contract, then chances are you will be sharing the full value of the matrimonial home with your ex. If of course there's depending on the length of the marriage, you may be able to make a claim for unequal division. Now, a claim for unequal division is comes with a very high threshold to meet, but that is something that's available for people who have been in marriages for less than 5 years. So to summarize, can you keep the home you brought into the marriage? Chances are yes, you can actually keep the physical home. And in terms of the entire value of the home, If you don't have a marriage contract, chances are you will have to share that with your ex. How much you would have to share and what deductions you will be entitled to depends on whether it's a matrimonial home or just a secondary investment property. So I hope that that helps. Until next time, bye for now.